Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Metro Nashville Police and Fire Joint Color Guard. Please remain standing and welcome Metro Council President Pro Tem and District 18 Council Member, Briley Allen.
Good morning. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, please welcome Pastor Daryl Drumwright from the Temple Church.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Creator, we give you praise for this day. We thank you for allowing us to assemble ourselves together in this space. As we focus our attention specifically on matters pertaining to metropolitan Nashville-Davidson County, we also ask you, O God, to make your presence known throughout this world and this nation. Great God, we ask your continuous comfort, encouragement, and strength for the citizens of Poway, California, impacted by the recent synagogue attack. Creator God, bless and guide the mayor and every elected and appointed official in our city. Help us all as citizens, O God, to recommit ourselves to do the work of justice, to love mercy, and to walk with humility before you. These things we pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Drumwright. Now we have another special guest. She's a senior at KIPP Nashville Collegiate High School. Please join me in welcoming Nashville's Youth Poet Laureate, Meena Ali.
Let me tell you a story about the time I strayed away from my path and fell into a trap of colorful expectations in order to fit in. I was on a field, her silver hair perfectly ironed with red lips as curvy as the rest of her body, her radiant aura forcefully grabbing the attention of those around her. She was accepted, and those associated with her were too. So for her, I stepped away from the brightness of hope and into the metallic shine of validation. She was familiar. But I never knew the real definition of familiarity. There were gray rundown fences caging me in, my desperately applied cherry lipstick, and off-brand brown Uggs would never be accepted. I was a foreigner, with rusty poles hollering at me from the outside, taunting me, bending in the direction of my road. I was trying so hard to engage with the big girls because the big girls were the best girls. I tried so hard to seek acceptance from those who were liked and accepted by everyone. So while they were fighting for laughs, I was fighting for another chance to see that swampy green grass, that turquoise canopy above filled with glistening lives of blue. It was all a colorful facade. But I desperately wanted to be colorful. knowing that acceptance meant making sacrifices, losing your sanity to see white pearls twinkling back at you. I jumped into a pit of color. The pit was dark. The darkness accepted me with a silver smile and silver ropes that bound me down. The darkness gave me the attention that I wanted, the attention that led to my shortcoming, the attention that led to my downfall. So I stopped, or at least tried to, but with the force of a million caring hearts, I started to levitate out of the pit, passing millions of colorful eyes watching me in jealousy. They were stuck, each bound down by stained ropes. No one cared enough to save them, but I was saved. I knew I had to jump back into that darkness to save those who weren't. We all have to jump back in face first. Help those before help is even needed. Give them the salvation that they deserve. A good support system starts with a good education, with family and teachers and mentors willing to fight even when the battle might seem lost. Give them love, and not just the illusion of love. Hold them tight so they don't have the chance to fall back into this pit. Allow them the chance to strive. Give them the chances that they deserve.
Seated. You may be seated. Thank you, Meena, for that beautiful performance. Now it's my pleasure to bring on another group of talented young people. Today's special musical guest, the Whites Creek High School Cobra Concert Choir. Thank you. That was two beautiful performances by Nashville's youth. Give them another hand, please. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nashville's Vice Mayor and the presiding officer of the Metro Council, Jim Shulman.
I knew I put my glasses somewhere. And I do want you to know that when I sing, I sound just like them. Good morning. I want to welcome you to the 56th Annual State of Metro Address. I hereby call this meeting of the Metropolitan Council to order. Madam Clerk, please record the names of the members in attendance. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking on behalf of the Metro Council, it is an honor for all of us on the Council to serve our great city. It is also my pleasure today to introduce the Mayor. Our Mayor took office under unusual circumstances last year and has worked hard to bring stability to Metro government. He's a Nashville native and a longtime public servant. In fact, he used to have my job. He didn't tell me it was going to be as much work. It is my great honor, and would you please join me in welcoming the 8th Mayor of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County for his second State of Metro address, Mayor David Briley.
Jim cannot sing like that. It's not proper to lie at the beginning of the speech, Jim. It is not proper. A year after facing one of Metro's most challenging moments, Nashville is strong, widely admired, resilient, and welcoming. I am proud and privileged to lead this city. At the outset, let me say something about the speech. This is not going to be a speech about promises. This is going to be a speech about progress. Good morning, and thank you for coming to the Metro Nashville Public Library. It is a place full of stories. What better place to tell Nashville's still evolving story of ambitions, of challenges, and opportunities. So let's talk about that story just a little bit. And though I hate to jump ahead, I have a spoiler alert for you. Nashville will keep growing. In just the last year, more than 8,600 new jobs have been announced by leading companies across this country. In just the first quarter of this year, Metro issued $1.4 billion worth of building permits. That's $300 million more than the highest quarter we'd ever had before. The challenge now is managing that growth and protecting this great city. Another spoiler alert. While some people might seek attention by saying otherwise, the truth is our credit rating remains high. The average wage in Nashville is growing faster in all but 3 big cities in our country. Our revenues are up more than 4%. Crime is down in nearly every category. And 15 million people visited our city in 2018. They all came back last weekend as well. It seemed that way. People want to be here, and our city is better off as a result. Now, I'm very optimistic about Nashville's future based on where we stand today and how we're moving forward. When we prosper as a city, we can do more for the people who live here. It's simple. Prosperity gives us more resources to build a stronger Nashville. But we have work to do to ensure that every resident of Nashville can participate in our city's prosperity. As our skyline continues to grow, we have to do everything we can to put our people in a position to grow with it. That is my top priority. When we do that, when we work to create equitable prosperity, to invest in our neighborhoods, to take care of one another, we build a stronger Nashville together. This all boils down to 4 priorities: education, public safety, building economic prosperity, and quality of life. Those are the biggest keys to our progress, and we're making a lot of it. Education will always be priority number 1. There are few things that are more important, more essential to building a strong Nashville than having great public schools. The truth is, we do have a ways to go. But first, I want to be clear. We have pockets of great success across our county in our public school system. For example, 35 Maplewood High School students have worked tirelessly for the past 3 years to build a national literacy movement called Project Lit, which now includes Project Lit now includes 750 schools across 48 states. These students are leading important change around equity and access to books, and 13 of these seniors earned full scholarships to Belmont University. They deserve a round of applause. I want to thank all of those students as well as Dr. Jared Amato, their English teacher, for all of their work. Dr. Amato is also a member of my education kitchen cabinet, which is looking at the best ways for Metro to support our lowest performing schools. Dr. Amato, would you please stand to get the recognition you deserve? Amazing things are happening in our classrooms and in our Metro schools, and we have some of the hardest working teachers in the nation. But we have a school system that has for many years been riddled with infighting amongst the adults, and this has fostered a systemic lack of forward thinking. Funding is part of that solution, a big part of it, and it falls on us, the city of Nashville. While the state of Tennessee will spend an additional $100 million plus on public education, on K through 12 education this year, More than $100 million will be spent by the state in new money. Nashville will get $567,000 of it. It's up to us, the city of Nashville, if we want to see improvement in the quality of public education in Nashville. Every year, by far, the largest portion of our budget is dedicated to education, and schools will continue to be the single largest area for support in our budget. This increase will allow the administration to give all teachers and support staff a 3% raise. The Metro Charter doesn't give me or the Metro Council the ability to tell the administration or the board what to do with the money we send. But I am here today to say to the Metro School Board, we are asking you, we are begging you, we are pleading with you to make sure that the number one priority when it comes to the budget is getting more money into the hands of our teachers and support staff this year. I recognize and share the growing sense that teachers should get a much larger raise and that Metro schools should get a much larger budget increase. I'm recommending this year as much of an increase as possible for education. And I'm committed to a multi-year approach to make sure that we adjust salaries at MNPS to reflect the value and the importance of our school system. Now, we also know it's not just about the money. It's also about the culture. And I'm as committed to changing the culture as I am to changing and increasing teacher pay. We have seen what a change in culture can do for our lowest performing schools. We've seen it at Napier Elementary, which I visited just a few weeks ago. I want to publicly thank the principal of Napier who's joined us here today, Dr. Watisha Lawless, for her great work in getting Napier off the priority list and bringing community together. Dr. Lawless brought community together and increased community investment. She and her team rewrote Napier's narrative and showed the progress that's possible when we work together. Dr. Lawless, will you please stand and get another round of applause? Now, in my role as mayor, I can tell you honestly that the best time is when I get to go to a Metro Nashville public school. And I've been to a lot. And we have seen this level of leadership not just at Napier, but at places like Whitsett and Fall Hamilton and Madison Middle, all of which I've visited just this month. Now, we must find additional resources to improve every school, no matter its status. We need to have a much bigger conversation about what that looks like and how we get there. This year, for the first time, through a memorandum of understanding, I will be taking a stronger role than any previous mayor in the school district's finances, operations, and human resources. We do need to build a multi-year strategic plan for the district, and over the next year, I'll work to develop one with a school board and the district administration led by interim director Dr. Adrian Battle. Now, Dr. Battle is a true testament to what can happen at Metro Nashville Public Schools. She is the first graduate of the district to come back and lead our schools. Dr. Battle, you have taken on the hardest job in the city. I hope you know that this entire city is rooting for you, and we're ready to stand beside you and help. I'd ask you to stand and get another round of applause. I keep jumping ahead. And Dr. Battle, please stand up. Because we want to get more of our students through Metro Nashville Public Schools successfully, We need to get behind Dr. Battle more than ever before, more than any other administrator we have ever had at Metro Nashville Public Schools. Now is the moment for us to get behind the director of the public school system. Oh. But we're not going to forget about our school students, our Metro Nashville Public School graduates, after they graduate. To do this, we need to help our young people cover some of the costs of attending Nashville State Community College, or TCAT, the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. This is because Metro Nashville School graduates go to Nashville State more than any other post-secondary institution. More go there than TSU and MTSU combined. But frankly, not many of them graduate. Not many of them at all, and we know why. This is why I'm calling this scholarship program Nashville Grad. That stands for Getting Results by Advancing Degrees. Because the power of graduating with a post-secondary credential is huge. It increases lifetime earnings by approximately a third. We're talking about changing a young person's trajectory. And no one should have to quit school because she needs to replace the brakes on her car or because he can't afford the textbooks. With academic advising and financial assistance, Nashville Grad will put students on a pathway to prosperity. When we can make that happen with $1,000 or $2,000 in a teenager's future, that's a very smart investment for our city. HCA kickstarted Nashville Grad with a $100,000 contribution. And I'll include $1 million in my budget for the first year of Nashville Grad. I want to thank HCA for their generosity in getting this program kickstarted. I'm especially grateful to Dr. Shauna Jackson, the president of Nashville State Community College, who couldn't be with us today, and Dr. Julie Williams, the dean of Social and Behavioral Sciences, for working with us to get Nashville Grad off the ground. Thank you, Dr. Williams. If you would please stand to be recognized. When I spoke to you a year ago, we were in a much different position. I said from this very spot that sacrifice would lead to success. We had to get Metro's budget under control. We had to live within our means. And Metro departments did that. They stepped up and lived within their means last year. Our plan worked. As a result of those sacrifices, the $2.33 billion budget that I will submit to the council tomorrow will include a 3% cost of living increase for Metro's police, firefighters, and other employees. Most employees will also get an increase because of longevity or merit. I will also recommend that we increase starting pay for our police officers by 6.4%. We need to pay our officers competitively for the challenging work they do. And with the 3% cost of living adjustment and the proposed pay plan adjustments, let me be clear. All full-time employees in Metro's general pay plan will make at least $15 an hour, and it is about time. And while we're here, let me say a little bit more about last weekend. None of that would have happened except for the hard work and sacrifice of Metro employees. And in case you didn't hear, the NFL held its draft in Nashville for the first time. It was the biggest and best ever by their estimation and mine, with 600,000 people attending over 3 days and more than 47.5 viewers on TV. It was the most attended, highest rated, and most watched draft in NFL history. I want to thank the people who made that a reality. our police, our firefighters, those workers at the Office of Emergency Management, Public Works, Emergency Communications Center, WeGo Public Transit, Metro Parks, Sports Authority, and many others played big parts in managing not just the draft, but the marathon, 3 nights of outdoor concerts, and more than 18,000 Jimmy Buffett parrot heads, whatever that is, I don't know. It says here it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, though, so I'm going to skip that. It was a weekend of sports, music, and Nashville's famous hospitality that showed our city off to the world in a wonderful light. The police presence downtown throughout the weekend made everyone feel safe, whether they were running, cheering for their favorite team, listening to music, or working. We took another big step to make our city safer in January when we launched Project Safe Nashville. Project Safe Nashville brings together local, state, and federal agencies to track guns used in crimes here in Nashville. While homicides are down more than 20%, I'm concerned about young people getting their hands on guns in our city. Project Safe Nashville is the largest ever interagency effort to address that problem. Safety is also about healing and justice. My budget includes a $100,000 direct appropriation to the Sexual Assault Center, a Nashville nonprofit that opened its new SAFE clinic last fall. The SAFE clinic expected victims to request 75 rape kit exams in the first year. Instead, in the first 7 months, they've already needed 120. This funding will ensure we have the resources to take care of victims and survivors. The Metro Family Safety Center, which we opened this year next to the new police headquarters on Murfreesboro Road, also is doing great work for survivors of domestic violence, child abuse, elder abuse, and sexual assault. We are stronger when we take care of one another, and this is one way we do that. When it comes to economic prosperity, building a stronger Nashville also means ensuring that everyone can have a shot in our economy. This is why we're working to level the playing field for minority-owned and women-owned businesses so they can have an equal opportunity at competing for Metro contracts. When you're running a business, your gender or your race, frankly, shouldn't matter. We all know that. And once again, I've done this before, but once again, I want to thank especially the members of the Metropolitan Council, especially Council Lady Sharon Hurt and Council Lady Taneka Vercher for unanimously approving the Equal Business Opportunity Program, which my administration... That program is the result of a much-needed disparity study that my administration put together at the very outset. My budget will also include $442,000 to implement the Equal Business Opportunity Program by July 1. For decades, Metro was a passive participant in discrimination. But because of the hard work we have done, that era is over. Nashville is also the first city in the South to recognize LGBT-owned businesses in its procurement process. I was extremely proud to sign that executive order because who you love or how you identify shouldn't matter at all when you're doing business with Metro. And one last point on this matter. and I hope that they're listening behind me. I encourage our state legislators once again to reject those bills that are unfriendly to our LGBT community. Please. I think people wanted to stand. There we go. By opening up Metro procurement, we're giving more small business owners, black and white, gay and straight, Nashville-born and foreign-born, a chance to thrive. That's the kind of progress that allows people to grow their businesses and create wealth. Prosperity gives us more resources to build a stronger Nashville. In that vein, we're making an investment in affordable housing unlike any we've ever seen. With my new plan, which is called Under One Roof 2029, we'll invest $500 million, $500 million over the next 10 years. And we'll ask the private sector to invest another $250 million so that Nashvillians can afford to stay in the city they love. Our growth and the revenue it brings increases our capacity to make that kind of investment. This investment will help MDHA and other developers build more than 10,000 affordable and workforce units. It will deconcentrate poverty by creating mixed income communities, the kinds of communities where police officers, downtown workers, young families, and teachers can live together near the core of our city. In addition, we'll be announcing $9.8 million in barn funds grants to nonprofits developers later today. These awards will fuel the construction and preservation of hundreds of affordable housing units. And HUD, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, is excited to help us build even more deeply affordable units, which will increase our stock by almost 20%. This approach is going to stand out amongst our peers across the United States. I can tell you other cities would love to be able to tackle their affordable housing needs with as many tools and as many public, private, and nonprofit partners as we're bringing to the table. So each speech has to have one confession. Here's my confession. I don't always answer my phone. And a few weeks ago, I didn't. I had a message later that I saw from Massachusetts Senator and presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren, congratulating us on the Under One Roof program. And now I'll always have that message because I don't answer my phone. Not a presidential endorsement. No, it is not. Senator Warren is joined by the mayors of D.C. and Boston and Atlanta in their praise of this bold approach. We have made a lot of progress on housing. We've been innovative, but we have more to do. There is nothing that does more to preserve our community's quality of life than affordable housing, and we'll keep working to make it available to everyone who wants to live here. So here's the best part. Our work on public safety, public education, and economic development will create the conditions necessary for our neighborhoods to thrive. Earlier this year, I met with more than 1,000 Nashvillians from 36 neighborhood groups, from Bellevue to Bordeaux, from Antioch to Old Hickory. Before I started pulling together the budget, I needed to hear their priorities for the city. They told me we're on track. We need to focus on schools, public safety, the economy, and transportation solutions. My operating budget will reflect those priorities, just like the capital spending plan we submitted last fall. That was a $351 million plan to build and improve infrastructure across the city with schools, parks, sidewalks, roads, affordable housing, a new branch library in Donaldson, a new park in Antioch, and much more. We're already working on next year's capital spending plan, which we will announce in the fall. Again, prosperity gives us more resources to build a stronger Nashville. Consistently staying on top of the city's infrastructure needs is necessary so we can sustain strong neighborhoods and raise our quality of life. But we have to be responsible about those investments. My budget also makes debt service a priority, with a 15% increase in the funds that will go towards retiring Metro's debt. While it's critical that we continue to invest in our city's future, we have to be responsible about paying back what we owe in a timely manner. Sustaining strong neighborhoods also requires staying on top of the issues that crop up every day. The two-bedroom pothole that seems to swallow your car, the stoplight that stopped working, the short-term rental owner who's good at disturbing the neighborhood and bad at following the rules. To that last point, my budget will include funding to add 2 additional full-time codes inspectors to focus exclusively on short-term rentals. We will be raising the fees for short-term rental permits so the general fund doesn't take the hit to hire those inspectors. We rely on citizens to help us stay on top of these issues, and now it's easier with Hub Nashville. It's a terrific one-stop shop you can find at hub.nashville.gov or by downloading the app. The Hub has been averaging 11,000 cases every month this year in 2019, compared to less than 7,000 a month at the same time last year. And Metro is resolving the complaints about 40% faster. That's why I'm making an increased appropriation to the Hub to keep up their great work. Now, downtown is a neighborhood too, and we'll continue to invest in it. The National Museum of African American Music, which will be on the ground floor of the 5th and Broad mixed-use development, will tell a great story. That story stretches from the early days of our nation to the Fisk Jubilee Singers, from Jimi Hendrix playing the clubs on Jefferson Street to today's R&B and hip-hop. Now, I told Jay-Z about the museum when he played at Vanderbilt last summer, and we also talked about my 99 problems. Yes, 50 of them were electric scooters. That deserves a round of applause right there, I'm just saying. Right, Councilman Elrod? It was open, I had to take it. This museum will tell a national and even an international story, and it will have an audience to match. It's a city that's worth, it's an investment that's worth the city's investment. As this new museum goes up, Greer Stadium is coming down, and the demolition is complete. Our former baseball stadium will be replaced by green space that will honor the history of Fort Negley and the state's slaves who died building it. That history is a 150-year-old scar on our city, and we need to acknowledge it. That was my first major announcement as mayor because I know how important it is that we work towards racial reconciliation and towards increasing green space in our city. While we're thinking about the past, we also need to focus on the future and confront climate change. Cities have to lead in this area, and Nashville is. Last fall, we announced Root Nashville, a campaign to plant 500,000 trees across the city by the year 2050. And just 6 months later, we've already planted more than 5,000. Early this year, we'll increase curbside recycling from once a month to every other week. We doubled the number of solar panels on Metro buildings, and Metro General Services continues to make its buildings and vehicles more sustainable. We can also do a lot for our environment through multimodal transportation. Let me translate that. Transit is still a major priority. 20 years from now, we don't want to look back through a haze of smog and a sea of gridlock traffic and say, we blew it. We could have done something. What we need to do now is get something on the ground to show how effective transit can be, and a great place to start is Dickerson Road. We have a willing partner in TDOT, which has agreed to explore funding strategies and make big changes, including transit along the corridor to Vietnam Veterans Parkway. And we have an opportunity, for once in our city, to get the infrastructure in place before the waves of development roll in. Our planning and public works departments, along with WeGo Public Transit, are already engaged on this project, and we're making great progress. Getting around our city is hard, and it will only get harder if we don't make smart decisions. Technology can help. This is why we are modernizing our on-street parking system in downtown and in Midtown. It's a change that will bring in $300 million in revenues over 30 years and still allow us to have the final say over any policy changes. Better yet, this money will go back directly into transit-related improvements like Vision Zero, because no pedestrian should die on the streets of Nashville. This is smart policy. We stay in complete control and everyone wins, except for the guy who likes to park at a meter all day and not pay. To that guy, I say, I'm sorry. Before I close, I want to thank Vice Mayor Jim Schulman, Council Pro Tem Berkeley Allen, Budget and Finance Chair Tanika Vercher, and every other member of the Metro Council for being my partners in the work of leading the city. We've done a lot of good things in just 1 year, and I look forward to much more. Thank you to all of the other Davidson County elected officials who are here today, our Metro department heads, our state legislative delegation, the congressional staff, and our judges for your public service. I also want to thank the Metro Nashville Police and Fire Joint Color Guard, our youth poet laureate Meena Ali, the Whites Creek High School Cobra Concert Choir, Kassar Abdullah, Pastor Daryl Drumright, and our announcer Sharon Kay. My staff in the mayor's office deserves a special thank you from me, because in the last year and plus, they have worked hard to make sure this city moves forward, and I appreciate their work and their sacrifice very much. And thank you to the Nashville Public Library for hosting us in this beautiful building again today. After I graduated from college, I spent more than 10 years living in other cities and other countries. I learned another language, and I learned a lot about what doesn't work when it comes to building communities. Jody and I moved back here because the city had changed a lot for the better. And we thought we could come to Nashville and make it an even greater city. We could help. In 10 years, Nashville will be 250 years old. And what do we want to do in those 10 years? What do we want to do as a city in those 10 years? When 2029 comes around, I want to see that each and every child has an opportunity to get a great public education. I want to see a city with fewer gun crimes. I want to see more affordable housing options. I want to see transportation options for commuters and folks who live here. I want to see a city where everyone has a chance to prosper. That's what progress looks like to me. That might seem like a lot for a decade, but I'm not worried about that. We have the vision. We have the energy. We just have to do the work. And all of you who are here today, each and every one of you, are already engaged in that work, in making our city a success. There are many others who are not here today who are equally passionate and engaged in that work. All of you will play key roles in building a stronger Nashville. Now, I've visited 3 of our lowest performing schools in the last month. I talked to students at each one of those schools, and some of the stories they told were both heartwarming and heart-wrenching. I found out after one visit that a young girl, a 4th grader, who had recently moved here from Guatemala, was touched by the fact that I could speak Spanish. I was equally touched by her smile. I hope she knows that. But I also heard stories of children experiencing trauma that prevents them from reaching their fullest potential. That's who I'm working for. It's the kids who don't have the opportunities they deserve that I'm fighting for. That's why we work to create jobs. That's why we work to improve schools and give students the resources they need. That's why we're doing the things I've talked about today. I am eager to fight that fight for a long time. Nashville is one of the greatest places in the world to live. There is no question about that. We've been called the friendliest city. We've been called the it city. But both those labels came from outside. It's time for Nashville to earn a new label, a label we give ourselves, the most equitable city. I know that earning it won't be easy, and that our work must continue. I'm ready for every minute of it. I know the city is too. Thank you for coming today.
I don't know if that applause is for me, but again, if you will join me in thanking our Mayor David Briley. Now that the purpose of this special meeting of the Metropolitan Council has been fulfilled, President Pro Tem Allen, you are recognized for a motion to adjourn. In case you didn't hear it, she moved to adjourn. That's a proper motion. I heard a proper second. Without objection, we are adjourned. And now I'd like to ask Khazar Abdullah to give the blessing for the city.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. By time, Indeed, the human race is in loss, except for those who have believed and done righteous deeds and advised each other to truth and patience. Being steadfast and not despairing in times of calamity requires patience. Success means being able to live simply, guided by faith in service of others. Dear Lord, the creator of the universe and the heavens, the most merciful, the most compassionate, bless us with your knowledge and wisdom, with strength and courage to be just among our people and the planet. Bless our city with love and peace. Turn our struggles into strength to build bridges that unite us as one community. Bless our Metro Council, Mayor Briley, Vice Mayor Shulman, school board, public servants, and the citizens of Nashville with the wisdom to make the right decisions in a timely manner and the courage to lead and vote for what is right, even at times when it is difficult and it is not a popular choice. Let us lead in the spirit of love, peace, inclusion, and unity. Let the Spirit extend from our citizens to elected officials, from the water streams of Nashville to the beautiful valleys in the hills of Tennessee. Let our city be the necessary sun that shines, and let Washington, D.C. know that we have a united community. Let the world know that regardless our zip codes, color, creed, identities, perspectives, or lifestyles, that we foster one community of understanding and service. That Nashville is a vibrant city to model after. Dear Lord, we can handle the NFA draft, but not the pollen. Please get rid of this ridiculous pollen that is making it unbreathable to breathe. Let us breathe, have patience, and stand firmly on justice and truth. Let us serve so that Nashville becomes the best place to live and the IT city for equality and inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you again for attending, and have a glorious Nashville Day.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.